We're going to look at terrorism, but you have to understand something. Please hear me. A devout Muslim does not believe that it's terrorism as we understand it in the West. They think that they're serving God. They actually believe they are serving Allah. And they can point to a massive body of Quranic verses from the Quran, Quranic literature, and hadith, the words and deeds, the record of the words and deeds of Muhammad, to say, look, this is Islam. And they're right. ISIS in their magazine recently said, there's this phrase going around that Islam is a religion of peace. ISIS saying, nothing could be further from the truth. Islam is the religion of the sword. And then they go on to quote the Quran and the hadith showing that without the sword, Islam would have died with Muhammad. That's Islam's history. Islam did not spread by preaching, friend. It spread by the sword. And I'm going to show you from Muhammad's words. So when these terrorists say we're killing so that A, none but Allah are worshipped, B, we want to establish the caliphate, have one successor, one leader, and one nation, all they're doing is obeying Muhammad. They're just reading the texts, okay? And this is important because there are people in government, in the media, in the military who don't understand the end game. There's an end game, what we're after. If Muhammad is the prophet of God, then what we're after is the total subjection of the earth, the total obedience of the earth, of all the world, to Muhammad and his dictates. What could be simpler? I mean, if Muhammad is the prophet of God, who are we to disobey him? Who are we to argue with him? If he said, go and kill the infidels, God wants to strike terror in their hearts so that they'll obey, who are we to argue? Ours is not to question why. Ours is but to obey and to do and maybe die. And Muhammad made promises to those who die. He said that God would give them 70 virgins. He said they would have a place in paradise where there's constant cool running water. Is it true? I mean, there are Muslim mothers who have parties and rejoice when their sons die in committing acts of jihad, when they die as martyrs, because Muhammad promised that they would be bridegrooms in paradise. And so these mothers are rejoicing that their sons are bridegrooms in paradise. So if Muhammad is the prophet of God, then we better get about the work of Muhammad, the work of calling the world to Allah. How did Muhammad call the world to Allah? Well, when he was in Mecca, he preached. And after 10 years of preaching, he only had about 200 converts. And a lot of people didn't like him. And most of his converts were illiterate. They were poor. They were not educated. Easily swayed, all right? I mean, this is not like today. We're talking about people who lived in sand and squalor and just were just holding on to life by their next meal, okay? And Muhammad comes along and says, I'm the prophet of God. Worship none but God. These idols are fake. Allah will forgive us. We'll go to heaven. I say, okay. He gets 200 converts. No killing, no call to killing in Mecca, none. Then he leaves and goes to Medina. He flees Mecca in fear of his life, goes to Medina and says to his followers over the course of about a year and a half, said, we're going to fight. And we're going to convert with the sword. Listen to Muhammad's words. Fight those who believe not in Allah, nor the last day, nor hold that forbidden which hath been forbidden by Allah and his messenger, nor acknowledge the religion of truth, that's Islam, even if they are the people of the book, the Bible, the Old and New Testament. Fight them until they pay the tax with willing submission and feel themselves subdued. Let me read another passage. I know I'm running over in time, but I want to get this out. This is Muhammad. Muhammad was about to send his generals out, right? His generals are making converts. When he sent out people to preach, they didn't make converts. Who would convert? Really and truly, who would convert to a lot of the aspects of Islam? But if it's true, and it's just our sinful nature, we're rebelling against God, and God says, you know, you won't listen to me, so I'm going to give you a little inspiration. It's a sword, so that you'll obey. You'll profess belief and you'll obey. And if you don't believe, you're going to pay the price. In time, you pay the price of the sword, punishment, death. In eternity, you pay with eternal hellfire. That's the message of Islam. Listen to what Muhammad said. He told his generals before they went out, fight in the name of Allah and in the way of Allah. Fight against those who disbelieve in Allah. Make a holy war. When you meet your enemies, invite them to 3 courses of action. 1, invite them to accept Islam. If they respond to you, accept it from them and desist from fighting against them. 2, if they refuse to accept Islam, demand from them the non-Muslim tax, the jizya. If they agree to pay, accept it from them and hold off your hands. 3, if they refuse to pay the tax, seek Allah's help and fight them. Convert them with the sword, subject the Jews and the Christians. Other infidels were killed. By the way, if you were an infidel worshiping idols, wooden idols, you didn't get to pay the tax. You were killed. The Islamic law says for the Arab, there's only one religion. They have to be a Muslim. If not, they're killed. So Muhammad's saying to his generals, go convert them. Here's the sword. Go strike terror in their hearts. And if they say, okay, we don't want to die, we don't want to fight, we don't want our wives to become sex slaves, we don't want our children to become slaves and be killed. What do we say again? There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. All right, now what do we got to do? Just obey these certain laws about what to eat and not eat. And okay, yes, we're Muslims. Pay this small tax. Okay, right. Get rid of our idols. Okay, yes, we'll do that. Just don't kill us, please. So within literally 100 years of Muhammad's death, Muslim armies swept through the Middle East, made it all the way through Spain up into France, okay, converting as they went. And they broke the back of many religions in the Middle East and broke the back of Christianity in a lot of the world too. But if Muhammad is the prophet of God, if he really is God's messenger, then they were doing the right thing. And who are we to resist it and to denounce it? Our job is to get with the program, to say the words, there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. And then say, what do you want me to do? Jihad? I'm in.